It is a method of farming. I mean, you're harvesting the sun. That's what you're doing when you're raising corn. In this case, we're getting the energy straight from the sun. We're missing all those other steps. Much more economical. It makes good sense, really. I think we ought to be leaders in the movement for renewable energy instead of being resistant against it.
The main thing is that we should be able to do with our property what we really want to do, because a property owner, we should have that privilege, or right, or I should say right, to do what we want with it.
I don't think most people will say that they're against renewable energy. There's just a lack of understanding that it's got to go somewhere. So we're going to have to do our part.
I want to point out that we're discussing draft wind regulations tonight and considering changes to and possible approval of that work. Tonight is not the final chapter on the wind regulations. In fact, it's not the final public hearing.
These things are huge. These things are huge. They dominate the landscape.
I don't know where they're going to put them, to be honest, without falling on a home or being in someone's backyard.
Small landowners like us will have absolutely no protection from these disgusting things.
This will affect our land values, our health, our mental health, our children, and the list goes on.
The United States is going to have a hard enough time meeting our emission reduction goals as it is. If we make these regulations too restrictive, companies will go elsewhere, which is obviously what some would like to see happen.
Kansas really has been building up renewable scale wind energy here for over 20 years. And so through the last 2 decades, we've expanded our wind energy production to almost 50% of our generation that we use in the state. Over the past 5 years or so, we've really begun to see a lot of misinformation about the impacts of the renewable energy industry. As the cost of utility scale solar has come down, we've really begun to see more interest in utility scale solar. But like wind, the same people who are spreading mis and disinformation about wind have also picked that thread up around solar as well.
We had learned that there was a Farm Bureau meeting about solar panels, and that one of the big concerns was if a tornado came through or something came through, the panels would be blown to smithereens and the glass would be everywhere. A couple of years later, then the Planning Commission had to develop regulations. That was the first part of our introduction to all of this information that wasn't true and quite far-fetched.
We felt compelled to let you all know that we do not support industrial wind or solar generation projects in southern Douglas County. There is not a single benefit to the community we have been presented with, and a vast majority of our patrons are not in favor of this.
It takes a toll on us. It takes a toll on all of our family. When things have not gone well in a meeting or something like that, there's a certain amount of tension in the waiting and the what next. I'm hopeful that when they break the ground that my parents will still be alive. That's all of us kids' hope, is that the folks are going to be able to at least see them there.
At the beginning, we assumed that they would be maybe somewhat a nuisance at times, and the foliage does reduce the sound, and the sound is not that noticeable.
I think that there's still quite a bit of negative feelings about it, but the county as a whole has just recently signed another moratorium against any more, and so I don't think there'll be any more wind farms go into the county, and I think that probably doesn't say the best thing about county attitudes toward economic development.
At the time, we thought it was going to happen a lot sooner and had no idea there would be any resistance against it.
You know, we have 6 children, and so we thought it would be something to pass down to our children and on down past to the other 3rd generation there, that it would be quite a legacy to leave for them, that they could have something that their grandparents had had all these years. My goal is I hope I can turn one of the first shovels when they have a ground baking time. You're laughing at me.
I want to see you run that shovel.
I'll hang on to it for death with all my old cane and that.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, check out these other videos from USA Today to stay up to date with all the latest news.